Welcome back, Pure Structure Traders and YouTube, for another market analysis for the London session. Again, today we'll be going over S&P 500, gold, and also oil. Give you guys some of the levels we'll be looking at, and also reviewing how we look to kind of trade today, and what we actually did in the markets, and how we saw the market kind of switch up as well. So again, if you guys do like the videos, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe with us. Again, any questions, feel free to pop them in here on YouTube. We'd love to get back to you guys. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into it for S&P 500. So moving back in the beginning of the day, somewhere right around those that 930 area, you can see that we're slowly moving to the downside. Some nice downward movement that we had. Wanted to see it actually get past these 4100s here, but we didn't get that opportunity to get past it. We actually had a pretty decent support right around those 4105s, and then you can see the market started to try to climb up from there. So we did have a nice short right around those 35 and 33 areas. Wanted to get 40 earlier, but in the beginning off the open, didn't know if it was going to break up to 47 and then through that into our next area, which is right around those 60s to 64s, which we hit again earlier. Well, actually a little bit later after the US session open, but we did climb up to those 64s, which was nice. But for the most part, off the open of the US session, we were actually shorting down. Wanted to try to get it into those 4090s, but didn't get it all the way down there. So I had to take that profit as it came back. And then you can see a nice double bottom that actually happened here right at the bottom on S&P, right off those 0450s, and then nice movement to the upside. Took a little bit of time to get me on board to try to catch the fade back up, but as I saw it not breaking this level right around those 20s, then we had an opportunity to try to push back to the upside into those 49 to 50s, and then it continued to move up from there off this double bottom here up into those 67. So was some pretty decent opportunity, and you can see on S&P from there we started to kind of chop around. Now what are we looking at for the London session on S&P 500? We are looking for this to find resistance right around these 48 to 56s and bring us back down into this area of support here. Our first area of support is going to be right around these 27 to about 32s. Once we get down in here, want to see if we catch a bounce and then push right back up. If not, next level down below for me is going to be those 41.1975s. And then if we can get below that, again, we're going to have that some other areas down below, which I'm probably going to be targeting somewhere around these 90s. So I'll also put a level right around there, somewhere right around here, the 90 to about 87s. That's going to be our next zone of support that we look out for on the way down. So again, could get the opportunity for the market to try to push into that level, but we'll have to actually break those 27 to about 32s. We're gonna have to break this down here, this zone of support, and then below that for S&P we're gonna have to break these 41.1975s, and then from there we can see it try to collapse even deeper. Again, 41.05 is going to also be another area that we could see a turnaround as well, and then bounce right back to the upside. But we'll see. Right now we're catching that resistance. Nice opportunity, could pull down. So we'll see where we are for the London session on S&P 500. Now, if we don't break down this area of support, we are going to be looking for this to try to retest those 60s into 72 to about 80 as the next areas of resistance up above. So keep an eye out for that off the London session, and maybe even into the US session. Moving over into gold, let's take a look. So switched up contracts a little bit on gold. It's getting choppy on the other end, but we are looking for this thing to find resistance kind of right up here. Resistance area 1847 to about 1849.9. If we get a nice rejection there, could look for this to try to continue to sell that rip lower. 1825.8 is our next area of support, and below that 21.4, and then 18.6 and 17 even as the next areas. But if we do get a nice double bottom here off 25.8, that could be a nice opportunity for a fade back to the upside off that double bottom. So we'll keep an eye out for that on gold. But right now, want to see if we can pull back into this resistance zone and then get a nice sell off from that area. So a little bit far away from it, so we got some time on that for gold. See what happens on the London session, and maybe even to the US session. For crude oil, we are back down into a zone of support, 114.30 being the low side zone of this. Nice bounce from here could give us a nice fourth touch and then a push right back up. Resistance for me is 115.85. Now if we stay below this area, we're going to continue to try to push this support and get even lower. Next area for me, 110.95 to about 111.73 as the zones on crude oil. So again, if we stay below those 115.85s, you can look for an opportunity for crude oil to try to continue to push to the downside. Now if we just break back up above this level, look for a retest, failure to go back lower, and then a push to continue up to our next level, 118.77, as my next level of resistance on crude oil as well. This is where we may look for a double top here. If we get one, this could be a great opportunity to try to short it right back down. So got some ideas there on S&P, gold, and also crude oil, but we'll see what happens as we draw into the session, the London session. But other than that, that wraps it up for S&P 500, gold, and also oil. Again, if you guys do like the videos, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you guys subscribe with us. Any questions you guys got, feel free to pop them in here on YouTube. We'd love to get back to you guys. You guys take care. Make sure you trade with discipline and patience. Have a great night.